Alright. Hello, Internet. I'm sure most of you heard a little movie that was released on Netflix called Cuties. And if not, you're definitely in for a treat on today's episode of Somewhere in Between, where unfortunately, me and Adam watched this film to see what it was all about. And let's just say, on me, I wanted to drench my eyes in in bleach after watching this film. I'm Gabe. This is my co-host Adam, where we have different point of views on topics, where we come to an understanding on this episode of Somewhere in Between. Start off with, well, we were supposed to do a completely different subject this week, but I heard about, I guess the how did we hear about this movie is, I think it's from around social media. It's because that's why I was kind of like, what the hell is everyone talking about this movie Cuties? And then like I saw the poster and I'm just like, okay. And then the only reason I actually was interested is because I follow a YouTuber and he makes fun of almost anything and he does like random stuff, and he's like, I saw like his thumbnail said like, what the fuck, Netflix? And so I was like, okay, I gotta see what he's talking about. And he's like, and most of the time he's very funny, but like this one he's like, I'm being dead ass serious. I'm like, I'm not making any jokes about any of this. Like, I don't care about being demonetized and everything. I'm ready to shit on Netflix right now. And he was just like, gave his whole like review about it, and he was like saying, I don't want anyone to watch this film. Like, I'm watching it just to save you guys. And that's how I was like, okay, I'll see for myself. And here we are.
I don't even know how I found out about this movie. I think it was, oddly enough, I think I was on Snapchat, and I never am on Snapchat. I downloaded it, and I think I saw the poster as like a thumbnail on somebody's, like, one of those public, the popular Snapchats you can follow and subscribe to. I think I saw this poster on there. I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I got 3.5-year-olds, so I'm like, and they're girls. I'm looking at it like, what is this? There's no way this is, like, how is it Snapchat allowing this to be on their platform? And I, obviously hit the story, and then I, found out a little bit about it. I was like, what the heck? And I wasn't going to watch it. I was done. I wasn't going to watch it. And then, we started talking because this was before we even talked. Like, I saw about it and I was like, oh, I'm not going to do anything with that. And then you and I started talking about it. I'm like, yeah, I think this is what we should talk about this week because it's so messed up. And it's kind of a big news story in media right now. I would say.
Yeah, because like I started writing up like a script and everything for what we're gonna do. Well, prior to our last episode, and then this hit like what, Wednesday or Thursday, like
something like that. Yeah, it was midweek this week.
Yeah, like midweek. We had everything pretty much almost wrapped up, and then we just kind of just shifted gears after like I saw your snap, just your reaction after the movie. And so I think that was, we're like, all right, we got a lot of talk about this. So I think that's what I think that's where we saw. So I guess seeing the poster, I'll share the poster when I edit this podcast after. Well, once the audience sees the poster on our video,
we're gonna be flagged for child pornography.
but just seeing it, I'm just like why? Like, it's so like, like it's so wrong. And and by the way, this is a foreign movie. It's a French movie. And that's what I had no idea, because like when I started watching it, I was kind of like, they're not talking, like in sync with their lips, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was dubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could quickly tell it was foreign. I knew it was foreign before I started watching it, but yeah, I think everything's dubbed in this movie. You can see street signs and things are in French, so there's you could tell where they're at for sure. And they're obviously, everything's it's a foreign film. That's all I gotta say about it. It's clearly a foreign film.
All right.
I would also add, I believe this movie actually won a bunch of awards at, I want to say Sundance or something.
Yeah, it won like one of those, those like movie festival venues,
yeah, like one of those
places.
artsy movies that very few people watch.
Yeah. So
I don't
I know
know.
I saw like the accolades. Like there's probably like maybe what 4 or 5 of them like on screen, but for like trailers. One of the best original screenplays. Oh, I bet it is.
It's original, that's for sure.
um, I guess before we like start talking about this movie, like the overview, the premises of the movie is basically I don't know any of the people's names, but the main character, like
You
she's
want me to say the overview? I got it.
yeah,
I can talk about the
you can
overview.
talk about the overview.
So
I'll hand
I
it to
will
you.
say, I watched this entire thing, the entire runtime, back to back. Gabe watched, kind of skimmed over it and did it. So I got the full Monty on this thing, and it's pretty bad. The whole movie revolves around a little girl who is of like an African descent. I think her parents are from Senegal, and they obviously immigrated to France, and they're a very traditional family. And by traditional, I mean like the Senegal traditional. They're Muslim. They have big wedding garbs and big dresses that they're always wearing, and they have like their head garbs and stuff like that. And like even even like one of the big themes in the movie that they touch on is how the mom is struggling with uh, basically trying to figure out what she's going to do because her husband's coming home from Senegal. He went back home to marry a second wife, and it's like it's accepted in their culture and stuff, like in that traditional culture. So one of the big themes is like how she's dealing with it. But the main character is they say it's Amy. Like if you watch it, the subtitles, it's like that's short for what her full name is. Um, she's a little girl. She's the daughter of the mom who's struggling with the second wife, and she basically gets into social media and starts dancing pretty provocatively. She's 11 years old, and gets into this girl group where they want to prepare. They basically prepare throughout the movie for a competition, a dance competition, and think of like Step Up without any clothes for the most part.
And
And
younger.
that's kind of like and way younger, yeah, and obviously way younger. And that's kind of the general synopsis without me spoiling too much.
Good.
We're gonna spoil this whole
No,
thing, so
we are
that's
spoiling in this movie.
so we'll go through all like the main parts that we wrote down like, that stood out to us. But that's kind of the general overview, like going into what is this movie about. That's
Yeah.
what it's about, and then we'll go into the deeper meaning later. But yeah, so that's it.
Yeah. So like
Oh man,
me and Adam did our own separate notes, like what stood out to us, and like he'll look on his notes, and I'll look at mine, so that way we don't like overlap.
yep.
So like we're gonna be bouncing around all over the place, so we're not gonna be like chronological order. So
Yeah, mine are in chronological order actually.
no, mine are all over the place because that's how I
Yep.
remembered some of this stuff. Well, I mean,
No, you're good.
we can go in order for yours or however you want to do this,
You keep. How about we do? Because mine's in chronological order. I'll go through mine, and then like you
and then whatever
check them
comes
off as
up
you
on
go.
yours. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, that
and if I
works.
don't touch on it, like let me know. The
Yep.
first thing is it's really weird. The first thing I've got a lot of notes on here. First thing that happens that I wrote down, which was kind of disturbing, is, and this is after she kind of runs into this group of girls that dance. Um, she steals her I think it's her cousin's phone. It's either a brother or a cousin's phone,
I still
and
don't even
she
know.
basically, yeah, like it was very vague on who that was. It was clearly a family member, but I think it was a cousin. And she steals his phone, like, and she has it for days. Like nobody's saying anything. She creates her own like a French Instagram. That's, I mean, you can tell it's French. And it's an Instagram, and she starts doing duck faces and
Putting
all this kind of stuff.
filters and all that other stuff on there.
And it was really kind of disturbing because this is like this 11-year-old girl trying to do like this is the tip of the iceberg, but um it was just kind of disturbing to me to see an 11-year-old into social media that way. I don't know if you caught that or not, but it was really messed up to me.
It's so weird because it's kind of like, aren't you like girls like young girls like that supposed to be like doing something other than being on a phone, you know? So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like I understand like if if you're in high school doing all that bullshit, but like not like in this age for doing
yeah.
stuff like that.
It was really weird, and immediately that's kind of where I was like, all right, well, this film, like, I get what they're trying to do, like, instantly from that scene. And I'll go into deeper. I'll go into deeper than that once we get through all these points. But the next scene immediately after that, she's got the phone, and she's in the bathroom of her school. Really weird schools because there's no doors on the bathrooms. That might be a French thing, but it's really weird to me. And she's in the bathroom. She's sitting there on the pot, and the four girls that she's kind of emulating are getting to know, or trying to get to know. They're sitting there talking about sex, and they're saying stuff like, "Yeah, that's what happens when a boy goes inside you and pees." And then they said something along the lines of, "Yeah, if he pees, it would come right out of your mouth." And then the next line, and this is so fucked up. The next line is something along the lines of, "Well, they're not that big enough, like they're not that long enough to reach. Like if the guy was inside you and peed, they're not long enough." And then one of the girls is like, "Well, you never know. Some boys might be." And then they all laugh. And these are like 11-year-old girls talking about this stuff. I don't know. Like I've never been an 11-year-old girl, but I don't think that's what 11-year-old girls talk about. So
I guess I skimmed over that
weird.
because I went from like
then they also say, "Well, isn't that rape?" They
yeah,
literally say that, like, "Isn't that rape?" I was like, "What the hell are these kids talking about? I don't even know what this is."
I got
And then
some.
then immediately it cuts to them watching I think it's the same scene where they're watching another music video.
They're watching like that music group like
They're
dancing.
watching some other music video, and the chick flashes a titty, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's the coolest thing ever!" And they're looking at the like counts because it's like a fake Instagram still, and they're seeing all the reactions and emojis come through. So that's like the next thing. I was like, "Oh god, this is bad. This is bad." So finally, she ends up getting into this group somehow, and not even getting into the group. She's like, they allow her to film the group, and the first thing they say to her is they start ripping her because she's so flat. Like, she doesn't have an ass. Like, she's an 11-year-old girl, and they're like, you can't dance with us. You're flat. And they start spanking her in the ass, and everything's all the way it's shot. All the close-ups are like showing exactly that. It's like showing her butt like the whole time.
Yeah.
Just, what the heck? And these kids, like, there's no parents around. There's just no parents in this movie other than the ones that are marrying multiple people. Or
I think we only saw like maybe one parent of the kids group, the one with the glasses, like maybe off camera, but you can hear them, them yelling like in their house or something. I think that was like the only character out of that whole entire group. Only one of them like had a parent.
Yeah. I mean, we saw the fat chick's mom. I think that's the only time we saw another mom of this other family, these other four girls. So anyways, right after that scene where they dance and she films it is when they go to the park. And this is what I'm going to be calling the balloon scene. And you've got it on your list. So I know you'll remember this scene because one of the girls comes out of the woods because they're all sitting around like this little camp area in the woods, kind of like, I think it's like a park bench almost.
Mm-hmm.
And she walks up and is like, "Hey, look what I found. It's a balloon." And she blows it up, and she like pretends it's a boob. Like, they say, like, "Yeah, these are
implants.
These are implants." And she blows it up, and it ends up being a condom that she blows up. And the girls all freak out, like, "Oh my god, you blew up a condom!
Like,
you have AIDS.
You have AIDS."
I was just like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, that's a used condom too. Like, that's the worst part about, like, you're not even thinking that either. But if it's out there in the park, like, that's a bum's condom. Like, it's so messed up. God, it's weird because the kids are just like, they have no clue what's going on, but they also know all this other stuff. Like, how would you even know what I didn't know what a condom was when I was 11. I mean, I don't know. Did you know what a condom was when you were 11? That's just weird.
Dude, I was off playing video games and like doing like staying over at friends' houses, doing stupid shit like that. But
yeah,
no way.
So this girl that blew it up, they all start making fun of her because she's got AIDS. They start scrubbing her mouth with soap, and they start spraying liquid soap in her mouth and like washing her mouth. And it's really weird. She feels terrible because they made fun of her, but she doesn't realize what happened really, and it's all very, very awkward. Then they go to her friend's house, the fat chick's house. I knew this chick was going to get dumped, by the way, because she was the only one that was fat in the whole group. This is the one that's going to get dumped. Like, this is going to be 4 people. She's not on the poster. somehow they're going to kick her out of the whole thing. And basically, what happens during that is so weird. It was so weird. They're sitting in their room and they're Zoom calling this cute kid from school who's a couple years older than them, and like just chatting with him while he's on his webcam and they're not. And it's just super weird because it's like a Zoom call. It's like our call right now, only they're just staring at this guy. Like, oh my God, he's
I
so
wrote
hot.
that on there.
And then they send him texts like, I have big boobs and all this stuff. They straight up send him that. And then I think the fat chick accidentally turns on the camera.
Yeah.
And he flips out because he's like, you're 11. And they're all like, ah. And the one kid who looks exactly like, fun fact here, the one kid, the nerdy kid that lives in the same building as the main character, she looks exactly like the kid from School of Rock that was the nerdy one.
Yeah.
Exactly like that's obviously not the same person, but she looks exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I couldn't
Yeah.
help but think of that in the entire movie. She gets all pissed because she really likes this kid. And they basically drop the fat chick out. They're like, oh, you're out.
You're out because you ruined it.
So they kick her out.
I wouldn't say they were in a chat room like this. They were like in a chat rebate kind of chat room.
I don't know what you would call it. It was really freaking weird. It was like an old school AIM chat room where you'd have a webcam. It was just weird. It was like dark internet stuff. Really fucked up.
Yeah. So like, oh yeah, and that one other thing too about like the group itself. Like, I don't like when the main character started to like be interested, and that was when like the girl with the glasses, when she was like ironing her hair, and I was kind of like, okay, whatever. I guess that's what kind of like was like, oh, she's weird, and she was dancing. Oh yeah, she was dancing too, and it's just seeing like the kid, like that group. I'm just like, they are like the most unlikable like girls that like I ever seen in a movie. Like, I did not care about them at all because like, they lack discipline. Like,
yeah, it's crazy, and there's no adults anymore. Like,
no.
the whole movie, there are very little adults.
No.
So yeah, I mean, they drop the fat chick, and then they're down one person. So this main chick has to step up, and they're like, you can't.
Like, she can't dance, but she was practicing, like, she was locking herself in the bathroom and practicing their dance move.
She was locking herself in the bathroom. She was, while they were doing, like, prayer, like the Muslim prayer, she was in her, like, shawl or whatever you call it, watching essentially a WAP. Like, is that Cardi B? She was essentially watching that exact same video, only it was like a generic version where they're doing exact moves that are in that music video. So she practices all that stuff in the bathroom in her room and starts stealing her little brother's t-shirts because it looks like a crop top because it's a small shirt. And then they've already dropped this chick out. They don't know what to do with their competition because they're down one person. She's like, well, I'll dance, and then they're like, you can't dance. So she starts basically doing the WAP and dry humping the floor where they're dancing at in this park, like under this bridge that they dance at. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, they dance
under a bridge. She starts teaching them how to do it. And then the whole scene there, and I think this is the scene that's kind of making the rounds, well, other than the ending scene, is where, she's teaching them how to do it. She's like pulling their underwear. And you can see
she starts like
scenes, so you can see like her panties. It's like an 11-year-old girl. You can see her panties. And she's teaching them how to do it. They're all spanking each other. It is. Yeah,
very, very really over sexualized scene of them like trying, practicing, but it's like, little girls, like, it's so like I was just looking at it like this is like so wrong. Like, I felt like a perv just like watching this. I'm like, just but it's
pretty messed up. I watched it on a work computer. And I'm like, I'm gonna get a call from HR, and I'm gonna be fired if I. It's like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So, what happened after that was
making food for the dad's second wedding. That's where we're at right now.
Making food for the dad's second wedding, yeah. So the grandma, it's really weird. She just, or the aunt, I think she's an aunt, right?
Yeah.
She pulls her in, is like, yeah, we just gotta start making stew for the wedding tomorrow or 2 days from now. And so she misses the show. And there's one scene there where like her dress starts melting. Her like traditional ceremony dress starts melting. And you see like this red stuff dripping. And I was immediately thinking like, okay, this is symbol. They're trying to like make this symbolize her womanhood. And she runs away from her auntie when they're doing all this stuff with the food to get to the show that's like the pre-op for it's like the pre-show to qualify, the qualifiers. And she misses, she's late, so she doesn't get to go. And then she was going to go in, but she has her period, right? So she doesn't go in. And she comes home, and then it's this whole thing like how she became a woman, and like it's really strange because I think her aunt or her mom like laughs when she comes in, like, you're a woman now. Like,
I think it was the mom. I remember seeing that.
She's literally sitting there in jeans and there's blood. Like,
yeah,
on her crotch.
It's like, you're a woman now. Okay.
So after that, they sneak into laser tag. And you can take it away for this, because this is where it really takes a turn.
Everything that's like every 10 minutes it goes like worse to worse, like on a hill. But like I remember, so the girls, they sneak into a laser tag and they get caught by the security guard, one of them at least. And they're trying to like talk their way out of it. And then the other one, then another second security guard walks in and was like, "Hey, what the hell are these girls doing here?" And so pretty much, I guess how it turned out, it was like the main character or something, they basically like twerked their way out of getting into trouble. So basically, she like pushed aside the girls, and it was just kind of like, okay, or no, they got the call saying like, "Well, we're dancers" and stuff like that, and then they qualified. And then that was when the main girl started like doing the whole WAP twerking and like next to like an older guy, like in his 40s.
Yeah, like he's probably in his 40s, yeah.
And she's doing like all these erotic dance moves. I'm just like, this is so fucking wrong, dude.
Yeah, the part that was really disturbing on this part is like the one guy that caught him is like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
The other guy that's next to him is like, "Yeah," like getting into it.
Yeah.
Real rapey stuff.
Like as soon as like they let him go, and like the guy who has like common sense, looking at the guy like, "The hell's wrong with you?" Like the fuck, dude. Yeah.
It was like so. Yeah, I'll talk about it some more. The deeper analysis. So that happens. Then they eventually just let him go. So they got into the show now, and they're tough shit. So they're awesome and everything's great. But the next day after they qualify, this is like in every scene, once she meets these girls, the main character has more and more makeup on. So like the next day after they qualify, she walks into school in leather pants, fucking, you can see her midriff, and she's just showing her tits off. Like 11-year-old girl, dolled up. She looks straight up like a prostitute. Like if you were in a Grand Theft Auto video game, that's the exact same thing a prostitute would be wearing in Grand Theft Auto. Like it's exactly. I'm thinking Vice City. That's exactly.
Yeah, I would say Vice City would be the look.
It's exactly like that. So she walks in and everybody thinks she's tough shit or whatever, and then there's another group at the school that's dancers too. They end up getting an altercation because one of them throws trash at their group.
Yeah, threw like a water bottle at the.
So the main character goes up there and starts fighting him. And then a weird fight happens where the one girl that she started fighting with that threw the trash basically pulls her to the ground, and during the fight just takes her pants off.
Yeah,
we're talking, like I said, these are tight leather pants. She just pulls them off, and you can see her underwear. Like still talking 11-year-old girl. At this point, it's almost as if the scene looks like they're in high school, too. And there are no adults around. Nothing happened. Like
no teachers, nothing.
Yeah. Everyone just starts taking pictures of her without her pants on. And I think this is the part of the movie where they basically kick her out of the group because that's not yet. It's not yet. So that's what happens. So, but they end up getting some more notoriety because of this stuff. And then right after that, oh my gosh. Right before then is when they did their big dance on the streets after they qualified. Right before that, and they're basically on like a subway, like the upper deck subways you'd see in the big cities. They're just dancing on the street, or like on the steps of that, and like very sexual, like this, as sexual as it gets in this movie. and just slapping each other on the butts and like rubbing it. Like basically, there's like a lot of lesbian type dancing stuff like that. It's really messed up. So then she comes back into the school and acts like she's hot shit. She is dressed up like a female, like a prostitute, gets in a fight. Then after that is when she basically goes into her dad's dresser, steals a bunch of money, and they go to the store, presumably, with her little brother in tow, like her little 5-year-old, maybe 4 or 5-year-old brother.
Yeah.
And they go and buy underwear and lingerie and basically what they're going to wear for their competition. So you don't see them buy any of this stuff, but they show them afterwards, dancing down the streets in slow-mo. All of them have the panties they just bought on the outside, like they're wearing jeans. They'll have the panties on the outside while they're dancing. Meanwhile, they're throwing glitter and confetti and stuff. The little kid, the little brother, like has to pick up a piece of underwear that falls. And the scenery, my note over here just says this movie is disgusting trash. Because the way the way it's shot, and it continues to do this when they dance, is they pan over like their butts and their 11-year-old titties. Like that's what they do. It's insane.
This just looks like a Voyager shot. Like it's so like, ugh.
Yeah. It's like softcore porn.
Yeah.
What it looks like. So at this point, this has all happened after she goes and steals the money and gets all this stuff. She's FaceTiming her buddy in the hallway of the house, and the cousin or brother, whoever this family member is, this is his phone. She's had that for 3-4 days.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 days or something.
And he finds out that it's her that had his phone, and like gets pissed at her, like, "Hey, you've had my phone this whole time. We looked for it together." And he's like, "Give it to me," obviously trying to get it back from her. And she basically gives herself to him, like starts unzipping her pants. Like, I'll basically F you to keep this phone.
Yeah.
And he's clearly, he obviously is taken back by this because they're family and she's 11. And it's like, what the hell is your problem? She runs away to the bathroom. And in one of the most effed up scenes in this movie, she locks herself in the bathroom, pulls her pants down, pulls her underwear down, and basically takes her picture of her vagina and posts it to this French Instagram stuff.
Yep. First off, that shit would have been taken down like in a second. That would have been taken off, but it's the.
I thought what she was doing that. I thought she was taking that picture so she could blackmail the cousin to keep the phone. I thought that's what she was doing, and then she posted it online. I was like, "What in the hell?"
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So I thought that's what it was, but this movie isn't deep enough to do something like that. They're not smart enough to do stuff like that. So after that, basically this thing goes viral. Everybody at school sees it, and they kick her out of the group because that crossed the line even for these whorish girls.
Yeah,
that they can't do that.
So before that you backed up. That was when the white kid smacked her on the ass. Like,
oh yeah.
As the next day after she took the picture, and she got called to do like some math problem or something, and then one of the classmates, as soon as she walked in front of him and just smacked her on the butt, and then everyone's all like, oh my god, like why'd you do that? And then he was kind of right. He was just saying she's a whore, or something like that.
And anytime there's a creepy like onlooker like approving of it, it's always a white male. There's not another person. Just kind of a fun fact to this. Like we'll get further into it at the end when they actually get to the competition. But anybody that's like praising what happens is a white male.
It's always a white male. Oh, I would say go always back. You forgot one scene. I know I'm backing up a little bit. I'm just to pile up top of the crap we had to watch. There was another scene where the main chick had to go to the bathroom and take a picture of one of the whoever the crush was, or some random boy.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Yeah.
I was like, I know we're missing like completely one scene, but like I just wanted to. That was one thing. I was like, wait.
Yeah. So she walks into the bathroom because they know that one cute kid that they like, the same guy they did the Zoom call with. He's taking a piss. Like they can see him because these bathrooms don't have doors on them in France, apparently.
Yeah.
She walks in with a phone and starts trying to get a picture of his penis, like while he's peeing. and
Yeah.
it's just super creepy. And that I think that's how she gets caught, right? Because that happens, and then the school gets involved.
Yeah.
And the school, says, "Hey, this picture's going on." Her mom finds out, and then obviously they know about the phone because the cousin told the mom.
Mm-hmm.
So they find out a picture. They find her walking in and acting all this whorish. So they do this weird, like traditional. I don't know what you'd call it. They start throwing. They like
An
dress her
extra,
up in
an exorcist.
like some. I think she's in like a traditional garb, like a Muslim garb or whatever her ancestral, uh, you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
dressings are. She
like a
puts it in there, and then they were just throwing water at her, like it's
just holy
holy water or
water,
something.
and just
It's really, really
trying
weird.
to get rid of the evil spirit or something
Yeah.
that's within her.
So, like, while she's doing that,
Oh, this
he
is
starts going into like it's almost as if, oh man, what is a good movie? There's a movie that this happens in, but it's not like this
like
graphic.
any of this. Yeah,
Where like in an African setting where they like start dancing and kind of almost it's almost like they're having a not a fit, but like a I don't know if you what you'd call it. It's really weird, like a seizure. It's almost like a seizure. They're having a seizure, and she starts like almost like rolling back her
like
head, like
her
her eyes, and she
eyes are
starts
rolled in the
going
back of her head, and
she starts going
her
like this. And at first, I'm like, "What is this actually like? Is this holy water working? Are they exorcising some sort of demon?" And then all of a sudden, she starts realizing what she's doing is just twerk. She starts
just
twerking,
twerking
doing all this stuff. She
while
gets on
getting
the
blessed with holy
floor.
water.
She gets on the floor and does all this stuff. The whole wop, the whole thing. And so apparently, it doesn't work. That's I don't think that works. The next day, they kick her out of the group after that. Like right after that, all that stuff happens. Um, so they're like, well, we got to bring the fat chick again because somebody's got to help us win this competition. And then I had a funny note on here. Apparently, they just give gift baskets for second wife weddings because this is at the point where they have the second wedding, and they don't show the wedding or anything. All you see is like them going through their apartment complex in traditional garb, and there's just gift baskets everywhere.
Yeah,
There's gift baskets, and it's like it's really strange, but they also do it for a particular reason. So, and I'll go through my analysis, like deep analysis, in that when we're done
we
with
get
this. But
there.
after that is she's obviously wants to get back in this group, get into this competition. So on the way to the competition, she ambushes the fat chick and basically pushes her in water. I thought she was going to die here. Did you? I mean, did you watch
No,
that scene?
yeah, I saw it,
I
and
thought this
like,
was like another. You don't watch 13 Reasons Why, but I thought this was another Bryce, kind of like a Bryce Walker death, like where his leg hurts so he can't swim and just drowns. Like I thought she was gonna die. I thought really did.
yeah,
She ends up living, but she basically throws her in the water so she can take her place because she'll be late. She can't go to the thing if she's all wet. She can't get her makeup done. So she goes to the contest in to take her place, and they let her do it because they need to do this contest. And then probably definitely the most famous scene in the entire movie is their dance scene on stage. And kind of in the same vein of what we already saw or what we said about their dancing, they are up there gyrating and dry humping each other, smacking each other on the ass, all 11-year-old girls. And
legs open, legs
legs
crossed, and
open.
everything.
And this is when they're in their actual like
Like,
scantily clad stuff that you saw from the poster. They're blue and black, like I don't even know what you'd call them. Like it's almost lingerie at this point. And the onlookers in the crowd are like they're cheering it at the beginning, but they continuously like are not cheering it. They start showing clips of like black mother. It was all black mothers. They're all like disapproving. And then you see some people that are approving, and they're all white guys, like really creepy old white guys that are all like, yeah, yeah. And you see in the behind them,
like one
the
of them's
moms just
clapping.
like shaking their heads. You have people on the stage. They're all white people. They're all like, yeah, into their dance and like basically encouraging it. And essentially, what happens is in the middle of the dance, she realizes that she probably shouldn't be doing what she's doing, starts crying, and runs off the stage and runs home. So at the end of the final thing, I don't know if you have any other scenes that you wanted to mention, but I can talk about the last scene.
Uh, no, that's Oh yeah, I said something about the dance competition. I said the dance competition is like a BET twerking music video for pedophiles, and Epstein would approve, and the crowd of all women hate it, and but most of the men like it. So that was kind of like my takeaway. I'm like, ew,
Yep.
it was
Yeah. So,
disgusting.
yeah, and it goes on. I mean, this
It was a
dance is like
very long scene
it's like a
too.
3-4 minute clip of them
Yeah,
dancing, and it goes on for a very uncomfortable period of time. So anyway, she ends up running off the stage, realizing what she did, and goes home. At the end, it shows her in not her traditional garb, like they want her to dress up, like her mom and aunt want her to dress up, but she's also not dressed like a she was dressed like an 11-year-old girl. She goes outside, starts jump roping. The camera pans up, and every time the camera pans further up, she jumps higher and
and
stays in frame as the camera pans up, like as if she's jumping 20 feet high. And then it cuts the credits, and
yeah.
that's the movie. So it's I mean that's a whole synopsis on the movie. That's every big scene in the movie is right there. So what was your general take on this film, if you want to call it a film?
Like, sheesh. Well, all I know is that I saw the YouTube video for the trailer on Netflix. Like, I know there's like a million dislikes, but then there's like that other like 30,000 likes, and I'm just kind of like, all right, these are the 30,000 people we need to like look out for. It's like,
Yeah, if they could track those likes.
yeah, if it's like if you like this video, I'm just like that, something's up with the other 30,000 that that like this movie.
Yeah,
I guess from taking out of it, like I I got the message of saying like young girls, they're pretty much girls in general, like they have like a lot more peer pressure than us guys, like trying to like fit in like socially and trying to like get like others approval of how they look and stuff like that. And especially with like social media, of like, oh, if I don't have this x amount of followers, I'm not good enough or I'm not popular type of thing. So it's kind of like I understand what like the message behind the movie and all. It's just how it goes about wrong showing it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's my sentiments exactly. I think the person who directed this movie or wrote this movie honestly thought they were having a good commentary about sexualizing children and how that's bad. I genuinely think they did that, and I think it's either that or they sexualize children for on purpose,
Hey,
like
bad
for
publicity is
that
good
purposes.
publicity.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, there are a couple scenes there, like one of the scenes that I would mention, like, and that really tells you what the director's kind of trying to do. When she does stop dancing, and I mentioned these gift baskets because it's important because when she runs away to go to the dance competition, she runs into them and a bunch of glitter falls into her hair. And so she goes to this competition, and when the piece of glitter falls out of her hair while she's dancing, that's when everything like she realizes the error of her ways. That's why she starts crying. Like, and it's this whole like it's supposed to be the symbol of like of not trying to be like not being rebellious, but also like accepting the tradition and but not totally rejecting it, but also accepting it. And that's the whole movie is about. And it's but the way they go about doing it, the, it's so graphic and so disgusting. Like I said, I watched this on a work computer. I cannot. It was so uncomfortable to watch as a dad to see these girls doing this stuff. The fact that they think that they are so artsy that they can show this kind of stuff to there's other ways you can make that point.
yeah.
That would have been better. The
Instead of
acting is
how it
terrible.
is.
The other thing too, on like a fundamental level, the acting in this is awful. It's atrocious. The acting's terrible. Nobody's good at acting. The way it's shot is terrible. There is no music that's good in this. The dialogue is awful. There's nothing good about this movie. It's not shot good either. So the fact that this wins an award, like, not to get into conspiracy theories, but this is like the kind of thing that people that go to a private island to sleep with underage girls, this is the kind of shit they would like.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch this and it's like, well, how, and then who's voting for this to win something?
Yeah.
Um, it's not a good movie as a movie. It's not good as a message. I get what they're trying to do, but it's like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that this movie's made, and then it's even more unbelievable that Netflix. I'm sure they review every single thing that gets put on the platform. They have to. Um, the fact
Not
that they
this one,
would put this
apparently.
on there and think that this is like good,
This is
and they
art.
advertise. I mean, they advertised the hell out of it. Once the backlash of the poster came out, because the poster that was really caused a wildfire about this was it's a picture. It's an actual picture from the movie about right when they're at the competition and they're in their scantily clad outfits and they basically took the poster down and they said that's bad marketing. It's like, well, that's in the movie.
Yeah.
Like obviously the movie isn't about that, but it's that's too big of a part of the movie to say that's not. That's so awful.
That was the climax right there. You know,
Yeah,
that's like
yeah.
that's
I
where
mean,
everything
yeah. I mean,
happens.
it's also a big commentary, and you mentioned it already, but it's a big commentary on social media's effects on young girls. I would say it's the same for men too, not like this in different ways, but
Oh yeah,
I also think that 11-year-olds aren't supposed to be on social media.
or
So,
have a phone.
like you're making a point here. That's what would happen. And I think it's a good point that over sexualizing just women in general is bad. Like this whole WAP thing, it's got millions and millions of views. Like,
I didn't know what WAP was until like our group chat was started like saying about WAP, and I'm like, what the hell's a WAP? And then when I
yeah,
googled it, I'm kind of like, oh my god, like,
we live in a society where, um, everybody that's watching that is not thinking that's a good thing. Like that's not a good
it's not a good thing.
way to live, right? That's
Yeah,
not a good way to live. But you go on the news and people defend, or you go online, people defend that as women's empowerment. That's not women's empowerment. That's degrading to women.
yeah,
Um, it might be funny when you're like a college student that you don't have any cares in the world, but once you actually have responsibilities in life and you have a family, like that's not. I don't want my kids to do that stuff. I don't want them to even see that.
mm-hmm.
So like when I hear Cardi B on the radio and Shannon is say she's watching this stuff, I don't even want to hear that crap on the radio, especially if the kids are there.
Yeah. You listen on your own time.
Yeah, I mean, especially after this, because like the one video they see it is almost identical to that. It is almost identical to WAP. It's insane. It's insane. I cannot believe that movie got made.
Yeah. Well, then like the other thing is too, like I think right after like we got done watching this movie, I was just thinking, I'm like, I wonder, like especially the little girls who played in this movie. I'm kind of like, I want to know like how the parents felt, you know? Like I'm just looking at them like, if I had a child actor and she's doing this crap, I'll be like, on second thought, no, I
In
don't.
today's environment too, like
Yeah,
I mean, talk about exploitation of children. I mean, this is and it's like I'm sorry, but you can sell it as that we're trying to make a point that this kind of exploitation is bad, but you can't do the exact same act to make it seem bad. Like they could have done it differently to make the same point without having to actually make them exploited.
yeah.
Like they
Like
didn't
they
have
could
to do
have
it that way.
done.
And it would have been a better film too, because it actually would have been smart. This
Yeah,
is so on the nose. That's why it's bad. That's why it's a bad movie. Like if that's the point they're making, it's so on the nose that it's bad.
yeah. Like they made it
You
like
know what I mean?
so
It's
so like instead of you
it's
trying
so
to
I mean
like make you think about it, they actually like show you like, oh, this could happen.
yep.
They take it to like a whole nother level.
Yeah, I mean it's uncomfortable of a movie because it's supposed to be an uncomfortable movie. But it's so obvious like that's what they're trying to do. You don't have to be some movie aficionado to see what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Um but they didn't need to stylize it in that way, the way it's shot. I mean, I don't know how you could hold the camera of that movie and go home and go to bed as an adult,
like
as an adult human.
I feel dirty if I was on like if I
Yeah,
was the camera guy, I'd be like, ugh.
I would walk off the set. Like there's no possible way I would even film that.
The director's telling you,
Camera, you know?
I want a close up shot of that. Like what? Like no.
Yeah,
But
I really think that, and it's funny because before all this backlash happened, whenever you log into Netflix advertises the hell out of whatever's new. When a couple weeks ago,
or
when
what's
Power came
trending
out
or
with,
something like that.
yeah, well, even when the new big Netflix original comes out, or something comes out that had a bunch of awards, like this piece of garbage did, they advertise the hell out of it. When Power with Jamie Foxx comes out, or any of the other stuff comes out, it's the first thing you log into, dun when you get in your account on Netflix, and that is the homepage. This was advertised on Netflix. Then the backlash happened.
Then all
You
of a
can't
sudden
find
they
it
start
trending.
to retract it.
Yeah, you can't find it on trending. You're telling me this movie isn't? No, it's not in the top 10 movies streaming in the U.S. right now. You're crazy. It is.
It's a
It
lie.
is. You're taking it. You're pulling it from the top 10 list.
Yeah.
You know they are. Like in.
Yep.
It's just wild to me that this thing even got made. And so, if it's that big of a backlash, like to me, I would have pulled it. I cannot believe they haven't pulled it from the site already.
I'm pretty sure
do you guys
they
have a conscience at all? Like.
Well, I'm gonna say if people unsubscribe to Netflix, then they'll be like, okay, we'll pull it. Then they'll resub to their Netflix. Money talks. So I think once they see a drop in their sales, like okay, we'll take it off, and then whatever the movie will be at, I don't know if it'll ever be at a streaming service, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no fan of cancel culture, but if there was a reason to cancel something,
yeah, that's one of
the.
That's a perfect time to do a cancel culture on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys can't get behind that cause for this movie, I don't know, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's really all I had to say about this piece of garbage. I never want to talk about it again. It is absolutely horrendous. Can't recommend not seeing it.
I would probably rewatch Two Girls in One Cup over and over, then watch this again.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
If any of you youngsters know what that video is.
Yeah, it's kind of like a classic internet video.
It's a classic internet video. It's great. But I guess we already talked about what we got out of it. So I guess a review, if we can call a review, since we already. Well, you watched the whole entire thing, so I applaud you for that. Like me, when you started mentioning other stuff, I'm kind of like, I didn't see any of this shit because like I saw one scene and fast forwarded for maybe 20, 30 seconds, then push play, then kept watching. So like, I hope this movie never sees the light of day again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I can't believe they haven't pulled this from Netflix. Like it's telling. Like, and there's artsy movies that like think they're more than what they actually are. Like all the movies that win Oscars, they think they're these deep movies, and that's why people don't like the Oscars anymore, because the movies they think they're so deep and make this big message, and that's what Netflix is thinking, putting this up there. This is such a deep movie, and it's showing so it's got such a good message about how sexualizing children is bad and all this stuff, and. I mean, the whole movie just sexualizes children.
It's like.
I mean, it's insane.
It's, when you said about the director talking to someone, like, we need to send a message to not over sexualize young girls. I'm like, you should never do that in the first place. Like, there should never be a movie about that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's like with the whole like well, I'm still being on topic, but that was when like the whole like in California, like they don't like prosecute, or they started to think like pedophile as like a Orient or like a status.
The new I guess sexual orientation.
Yeah, and they call them pedophiles as an orientation. Like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah,
like I'm a liberal and all, but like, come on, like.
Well, that's why people are leaving it, dude. I mean, I can go on a rant about that for hours. But,
yeah.
It's a slippery slope. I mean, that's why people were so. I mean, I think really that's why people were against gay marriage a lot of times back in 2000 or early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, like before it was passed, because they were like, well, it's gonna be a slippery slope. What's next? People are gonna marry their dogs. People are gonna marry kids. It's like, the hell do you think's happening? No, I don't necessarily agree with like being against gay marriage, but
I think
I
like
clearly disagree with that.
I don't think like back
That's
then,
fine.
like we just call like like fag, like that was just like a name just to be thrown around. But like now it's
Yeah, it
like
wasn't
now it's
so
like
taken
oh
back.
now it's like a
I mean, I
bad
still say
word.
it, so
Yeah. But now it's like it has a whole another meaning now. So it's just the way how things are when you
yeah.
over the
But I
years.
mean, there is a there is a point where you can only progress so much, and
Yeah.
that's an area where I mean, you talk about loading up your guns and fighting each other like Civil War type stuff. You start normalizing this kind of behavior, and you will have that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm a dad with 2, 3.5 year olds. I would kill somebody if this kind of shit happened with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I'm also a parent. There is no parents in this film. There are a few adults, if you want to call them that,
The
but they're
main
not parents.
characters, the main
There are no
character's
parents in it.
parent, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is they're not parents. They're adults that are sometimes in the room. There are no
Yeah.
parents. If you're a parent, you'd know what your kid was doing. You know your kid would be if your kid was dancing underneath the bridge with a bunch of other forest chicks, you know what they're doing. My kids would never get that far, so I never let it happen.
Yeah.
And I think most people are like that. I mean, I would hope.
Well, let's guess how
So
I guess if like today's parenting, like I guess they're trying to send a message like, oh, I guess parents nowadays are not paying attention to their kids or something like that. Maybe, I don't know, but
you see what I'm trying to say. It's like they're trying to
yeah.
do this artsy way of saying this is what's happening, and at the same time they're doing the exact same thing. It's ironic because it's coming from Hollywood, and
Yeah.
they're the people that are. I mean, these are the guys that are doing all this stuff. I
Yep.
mean, it's hilarious.
Yep.
It's hilarious to me. It's ironic and disgusting.
Yeah, most definitely. So, I guess that basically sums up what we wanted to talk about. So, if you want to end it off right here. All
Yeah, I'm
right.
good.
All right. So, I hope you enjoyed Adam carrying this episode because, like I said, he's the one. He's the one who watched the whole entirety of the film. I just skimmed through it just to be like, okay, I'll stop here and see what's gonna happen next. And like, there's like others like stuff I was kind of like what the fuck. And I know though. Thanks, for Adam for carrying this episode today. Thanks for everyone for stopping by. This is where like the last 10 minutes, like me and Adam are gonna still be on stream, but we're gonna after hours. This is where our like 10 minute segment where we're just gonna talk about whatever comes to mind, and then and after that, that'll be it. So thank you for stopping by, for listening to our podcast. We we um we go live every Saturday at 9. And we'll have this podcast up on YouTube on Monday or Tuesday, but I'm gonna try and have a definite date for that. And share that or share this video, like, sub, all that stuff. Facebook, all the links will be in the description on YouTube. Yeah. So I guess is that it?
That's it.
All right. I will catch you guys next week.